Let's begin with a structural overview. Welcome to another lecture. Today we consider Kylian Mbappé, a case study in velocity, decision-making under pressure, and the economics of modern sport, condensed into one remarkably consistent forward. I am Professor Alexei, and with me is Priyanka, whose questions keep my footnotes honest.
Hi everyone, I am Priyanka. I am excited and a little intimidated because, he runs at defenders faster than I run to catch the bus.
To frame our discussion, Kylian Mbappé is a French professional footballer, a forward by trade, captain of France since March 2023, and since June 2024, a Real Madrid player who promptly won the 2024-25 Pichichi Trophy and the European Golden Shoe. He is widely regarded as one of the best in the world, combining extreme acceleration, intelligent off-ball movement, and clinical finishing with an increasingly refined playmaking profile.
Actually, before we go too deep, I want to ask something simple first. Can we define a few terms? What exactly is a forward here? And what are the Pichichi Trophy, the European Golden Shoe, and Ligue 1? I think it helps to set the baseline.
It's crucial to understand definitions. A forward is the player or set of players occupying the most advanced attacking roles. In Mbappé's case, we observe versatility across the left flank, the right flank, and centrally as a number 9, with capacity both to finish at elite rates and to create chances. The Pichichi Trophy is the award given to the top goal scorer in Spain's La Liga each season. The European Golden Shoe is a pan-European award for the top league goal scorer across UEFA member leagues, with goals weighted by league strength coefficients. Ligue 1 is the top professional division in France. Its tactical and athletic profiles have been fertile ground for Mbappé's development and early dominance.
And maybe related, when people say hat-trick and El Clasico, can we say those mean 3 goals in one match and the Real Madrid versus Barcelona rivalry?
Correct on both counts. A hat-trick is 3 goals by the same player in a single match. El Clásico refers to Real Madrid versus Barcelona, a fixture dense with history and, as it were, stress hormones. Moving forward, why does Mbappé matter? First, the on-field product. He is a serial league top scorer, a Champions League top scorer in 2025-26, and the record holder for most goals in World Cup finals with 4. Second, the off-field vector. He appears on Time's 100 list in 2023, ranks among Forbes' top 10 highest-paid athletes in 2023 and 2024, and anchors endorsement portfolios with Nike, Hublot, and Dior. Third, organizational behavior. In 2021-22, PSG constructed a financial package that arguably rebalanced power toward the player. In 2024, he moved to Madrid on a free transfer after a 7-year saga, unveiling before 80,000 spectators, which, in simpler terms, is not a normal work onboarding. Finally, sports business. Through interconnected ventures, he acquired an 80% stake in Caen via Coalition Capital in 2024, indicating long-horizon interests in talent development.
Isn't it interesting how young prodigies are often, misunderstood? People expect a smooth curve, but it is lumpy. He missed the decisive penalty at Euro 2020 and then scored a hat-trick in the 2022 World Cup final. He called Euro 2024 a failure, yet by 2026 he became France's all-time top scorer. So the historical narrative shifts as the sample increases.
This logically leads us to a brief chronology. Born in Paris in December 1998, raised in Bondy, a suburb with a notable grassroots football infrastructure. He entered AS Bondy at 6, progressed to Clairefontaine, and by July 2013, at age 14, joined Monaco's academy. Promoted in October 2015, he debuted in December 2015, becoming Monaco's youngest ever first-team player, and in February 2016 scored his first senior goal. The 2016-17 season yielded 26 goals in 44 matches, a Ligue 1 title, and critical mentorship from Radamel Falcao. By August 2017, Paris Saint-Germain had loaned and then purchased him for a total commitment of approximately 180 million euros, making him the most expensive teenager on record.
And some of the surprises. He scored 4 goals in 13 minutes against Lyon in October 2018. He later became PSG's all-time top scorer, and by November 2025, he was the youngest to 400 career goals since Pelé. That last one is kind of jaw-dropping.
Indeed. Further highlights. He helped lead PSG to their first ever Champions League final in 2020. In January 2023, he became the first PSG player to score 5 in a match. In March 2023, he was named France captain. He left PSG at the end of 2023-24, having been joint Champions League top scorer that season with 8. He signed for Real Madrid in June 2024, debuted with a goal to win the UEFA Super Cup, and by season's end had 31 La Liga goals, the Pichichi Trophy, and the European Golden Shoe. In 2025-26, he won a second consecutive Pichichi and led the Champions League in scoring with 15 goals. Internationally, his 2018 World Cup goal in the final and his 2022 final hat-trick bookend a trajectory that by June 2026 saw him surpass Olivier Giroud as France's all-time top scorer and reach 14 World Cup goals, the most by a French player. Speaking of transitions, I confess a personal scholarly affection for linguistics as an enabling technology in high-pressure environments. Mbappé began studying Spanish at 15. A decade later at Madrid, he integrated immediately into the dressing room and media landscape. In my lab, we would call that a high return on a relatively small early investment.
So yeah, moving on. Could we set up 3 big questions? How did his early development shape the career? What if he had joined Real Madrid at 14? And, the ambitious one, will he surpass the legacy of Messi and Ronaldo?
Let's start with the history. Question 1. Early development. We observe a layered system. First layer, Bondy, where his father Wilfried Mbappé, a coach of Cameroonian origin, and local staff inculcated fundamentals and discipline within a supportive but competitive environment. Second layer, Clairefontaine, which standardized elite technical and cognitive training. Third layer, Monaco's academy, and then first team under Leonardo Jardim, which supplied match minutes in a tactically sophisticated model. Within that third layer, Radamel Falcao's mentorship, by Mbappé's own testimony, improved movement timing, finishing selections, and the ability to play with what he called calm and serenity. These layers compressed time. Age-based records fell because the environment removed friction that usually slows young forwards.
I'm curious about family support in the background. What was the actual mechanism there? Was it just encouragement or something more structured?
It is worth noting the family as an integrated support system. His mother, Faiza Lamari, of Algerian Kabyle origin, is a former handball player who later became his agent. She negotiated contracts and endorsements with rare acuity. His younger brother, Ethan, is a professional at Lille, and his older adopted brother, Jires Kembo Ekoko, is a former professional. This fraternal network normalized high-performance routines. Even his trademark celebration traces to Ethan's video game gesture. indicating symbolic family continuity. Teachers labeled him academically gifted yet unruly. Channeled properly, that energy expressed as fearless senior football. Add early multilingualism in French, English, and Spanish, and we have an athlete whose household built both athletic and administrative competence.
Building on that, he also had early exposure to top clubs, right? Madrid invited him at 11, and Chelsea brought him in for a youth match at 14. Does that kind of scouting attention change a player's sense of self and goals?
Arguably, yes. Real Madrid, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, and Bayern Munich all tried to sign him during academy years. Early validation from multiple markets can create both confidence and noise. Monaco's decision to fast-track him and the presence of a veteran mentor served as filters. The outcome was not merely speed, but what coaches emphasize in him today: timing of runs, two-footed control at pace, and off-ball intelligence that yields high expected value chances in transitions. Let's transition to another aspect. Question 2. The counterfactual. What if Mbappé had joined Real Madrid at 14? Theoretically, a Madrid pathway might have routed him through Castilla, with sporadic first-team exposure behind established stars. This could have delayed high-volume senior minutes and, by extension, the 2016-17 Monaco explosion that catalyzed his market value and public image. Monaco's title run likely changes without his goals. The 2017 Champions League semi-final run probably attenuates. PSG's subsequent purchase at a record youth fee may never occur. The 2024 free transfer saga certainly lacks its dramatic arc. France still likely caps him before 20, given observable talent, but perhaps with fewer pre-tournament senior reps before the 2018 World Cup.
Can we maybe now look at the international angle more closely? If he is at Madrid earlier, does his 2018 World Cup look different? Does he still become the second teenager after Pelé to score in a final?
We can infer multiple plausible trees. Scenario 1. Fewer club minutes by 2017-18 at Madrid reduce his national team role to impact substitute, potentially dampening the probability of that round of 16 eruption versus Argentina, which in reality yielded 2 goals and man of the match. Scenario 2. Training daily with Madrid's elite accelerates certain technical and tactical habits even without heavy minutes, yielding similar or even superior tournament efficiency. The observable counterweight is that Jardim's Monaco granted him a central attacking lane with responsibility, which seems to have matched his psychological profile. In summary, the variance increases. The mean outcome remains international stardom, but the path shape likely differs.
From a different angle, what about French football domestically? Without his Monaco season, does Ligue 1 lose some global attention? And maybe the later investment in Caen does not happen in exactly the same way.
Plausibly, yes. The 2016-17 Monaco narrative served as a global advertisement for Ligue 1's development pipeline. Without it, the league's perception curve in that window is flatter. His later acquisition of 80% of Caen's shares via coalition capital in 2024 is path-dependent on his earnings and brand architecture. Alternate income timing could shift or delay such an investment. This is not to say it disappears, only that the parameters of timing and scale vary. On to our next point. Question 3. Will Mbappé surpass the legacy of Messi and Ronaldo? The evidence for: he is the youngest since Pelé to reach 400 career goals in November 2025. He holds the record for most goals in World Cup finals with 4. He won back-to-back Pichichi trophies in 2025 and 2026, the European Golden Shoe in 2025, and led the 2025-26 Champions League in scoring with 15. At Real Madrid, he equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's calendar year club record of 59 goals by December 2025, and he became France's all-time top scorer during the 2026 World Cup opener, while also setting the French record for total World Cup goals at 14.
But the arguments against would note longevity and trophy accumulation. Right. Messi and Ronaldo sustain output over nearly 2 decades, with Champions Leagues and Ballons d'Or stacked like, well, a very tall bookshelf.
Precisely. The comparative standard includes durability into the mid-30s, seasonal elasticity across coaches and systems, and multiple Champions League titles. Mbappé's dossier lacks multi-title European crowns to date. The debate is therefore prospective. Moreover, contemporaries such as Erling Haaland create competitive baselines that are non-trivial. We also acknowledge the noise from modern media cycles, including brief controversies, one of which involved a Swedish investigation in late 2024 that was closed in December 2024 for insufficient evidence. In such contexts, public narrative can drift from the underlying performance function, and we should remain anchored to data and due process.
I often think about longevity not just as years, but as adaptation. If he starts on the left and moves central over time, does that extend the curve? And what does the literature say about aging for speed-based players?
Mathematically, aging curves for elite sprinters in football show declines in raw acceleration. But this can be offset by earlier movement cues, improved shot selection, and expanded passing ranges. Mbappé already demonstrated dual capacity as top scorer and top assist provider in 2021-22, a rare signal of future adaptability. Load management, tactical recalibration, and multilingual leadership at Madrid and with France may preserve productivity. To surpass Messi and Ronaldo in the public imagination would likely require sustained peak years, durable availability, Champions League titles, and continued national team milestones, which, in conclusion, are possible but not guaranteed. Uncertainty remains irreducible here.
Can we also note the cultural piece? Time 100 in 2023, massive social media following, and philanthropy like donations to the Emiliano Sala and David Ibbotson search efforts in 2019. It makes me wonder how off-field choices shape a legacy when the on-field margins are so thin.
Clearly, reputational capital compounds. Endorsements with Nike, Hublot, and Dior frame a coherent brand. Civic remarks such as urging young French voters to reject extreme views during Euro 2024 indicate a willingness to engage the polis. Club ownership at Cannes suggests long-term stewardship of the sports ecosystem. These elements do not replace trophies, but they weight the legacy function in ways fans and historians increasingly value.
To shift gears a bit, do we have a favorite micro moment that encapsulates his style? For me, it is that 6 minutes and 42 seconds hat-trick rate in the Champions League in November 2025. It felt like time dilation.
I would nominate the 4 goals in 13 minutes versus Lyon in 2018. It demonstrated what we might call compounding acceleration. Defenders solved for one variable and found 3 new variables appearing immediately afterward. Also, his 50th Champions League goal in December 2024, as the second youngest to reach that mark, belongs in any portfolio of early European excellence.
Maybe it's just me, but I also like the smaller human details. Becoming godfather to 2 baby pandas in 2021. Copying his brother's video game celebration. It balances the hyper-competitive edges.
This then completes our present analysis. Mbappé is fundamentally a footballing phenomenon, a forward who blends speed, timing, and finishing with multilingual leadership and an expanding business footprint. We considered 3 questions. How early development across Bondy, Clairefontaine, and Monaco with Falcao's mentorship, shaped his acceleration into senior stardom. What might have changed had he joined Real Madrid at 14, with plausible shifts in club and international arcs? And whether he can surpass Messi and Ronaldo, where the answer remains open and contingent on longevity, adaptability, and continental trophies.
So I guess that kind of sums it up. For further study, maybe we can explore how early specialization and media exposure shape young athletes' identities and choices. The Mbappé case is such a clear lens for that. Thank you, Professor.
To summarize, we appreciate your attention. As always, run your own regressions before adopting hot takes. Until next time, from another lecture, be well.